Okay, so welcome to Champions Club. I'm really excited to have everybody here. And if you made the choice to be here today, I want to just comment on the phone jam that just happened here. So when you're making phone calls, I want you to play this out over 5 days. Okay. You don't have to come every single day, but think about it this way. If you book 2 demos times five, that's an extra 10 appointments. Four, that's 20 extra demos, right? Even three extra ones, you get the point. So you don't have to come every single day, but the goal should be, how quickly can you book up a bunch of demos? And part of the reason why Champions Club allows you to hit your goals because you're just phoning more, you're making more calls. Now, if you didn't get the results you wanted to, what would be a good thing to do probably later today? Make more phone calls, right? So I would look at the schedule. So since all of you have your schedule next to you, check this out and say, okay, when do I have some time to make some calls? Obviously, we have advanced training, of course, coming up here today as well. So make sure you have some alarms set for that one. Okay, when we learn stuff in Champions Club, by the way, there's a couple beliefs that need to be true. So I'm gonna have you start by writing a few of these things down. I'm excited to give you the goods. Every time we have Champions Club, you'll make some calls, you'll learn some stuff, and then the stuff you learn on your appointments, it always impacts your sales. I can promise you that. Now, if you want to go for 10K, you want to try to come to all 5 Champions Clubs. If you want to go for 3K, come to 2 of them, and you get the idea. Okay. So, however many you told your manager that you want to come to, set some alarms, right? Get to these champs clubs because it's only going to be able to help you. Every single week, we have people who show up to one of these things, and then later on that day, they use one of the tips and they sold more. So, technically, you don't get paid to come to Champions Club, but you also technically do because, you book up 3 demos just like that, you made 63 extra bucks if the base pays $21, right? For that 1 hour. That's like doctor money right there, right? So kind of think about it that way. And not even only just the demos you set up, it's that you learn things that help you sell more stuff too. So, okay, 2 closing beliefs need to be true to learn how to sell more Cutco. Okay, I'm going to teach you a lot about how to sell Cutco. I didn't teach you how to sell Cutco in training, by the way. We said follow the book, show those videos with enthusiasm, have some fun, right? Now, if you did that, would you agree that people liked Cutco? Did they buy it every single time? Maybe not, but at least they liked the products, right? So the first thing I want you to write down in your notes is closing is something we do for the customer, not to the customer. This has to be true if I'm going to teach you extra stuff. Closing is something we do for the customer, not to the customer. You've got to believe that when they make a purchase, it can't be like, oh, I just sold them something. It's got to be, wow, they're going to get an amazing product that they're going to have forever for the rest of their life, right? And the second thing that needs to be true is the customer always gets the better deal. The customer always gets the better deal. I sold my first homemaker set to my Aunt Cheryl, and I called my manager, Chris. I was pumped. I was like, Chris, I got her on the homemaker. I got her on the homemaker. He's like, that's pretty cool. How much money did you make? I was like, over $100. He's like, that's pretty cool. How long is it going to take you to spend that money? I was like, oh, I got some stuff picked out online tonight I'm going to buy. So like today. He's like, all right, well, how long are they going to have their Cutco for? I was like, well, forever. It's Cutco. And he said, okay, well, who really got who? Did you get them or did they get you? And that's when it clicked for me. And that's when I realized that every single time somebody got the products for me, they were getting the better deal because do we pay you pretty well to sell Cutco? For sure, right? Making the commission and stuff on a demo, you sell a homemaker, you make like, 150 or more dollars, so we're going to pay you pretty well to do that, but the customer always gets a better deal. You've got to have that mindset. So when I was going through like champions clubs and extra meetings, my mission was to learn more because I wanted to help everybody get at least something. That should be your mindset too. One of the managers in our region always talks about instead of saying how many sales did you make today, it's hey, how many people did you help get Cutco today? That's a great philosophy to have. How many people did you help get the products? So from then on, it was like my mission to get people a trimmer, at least, right? Hopefully it was a set, but getting at least that trimmer or one knife was really helpful. Okay, today I'm teaching you how to sell stuff. Who had somebody say this weekend? I love this stuff, Callista. I love this stuff a lot, but I'm buying it later. Who had the I'll buy it later person, right? It's always so annoying when they say that. Who had somebody say, I love the homemaker. It's amazing, Lucia. I'm going to buy it all, but I just want to buy a couple pieces today. Who had somebody say I'm buying like 2 pieces or 3 pieces? How about somebody who said, I love the homemaker set. James, I'm getting it, but I got to ask my spouse. Who had the need to talk to my spouse? Annoying thing, right? How about now is just a bad time? It's kind of a bad time right now, the holidays or this and that. Just, there's never like a good time. There's always an excuse every single month of the year, I can tell you. Some sort of bad time is happening. All right, go ahead and write down your notes. Smoke screens. That's a smoke screen. What is a smoke screen? A smoke screen is a non-real objection. A non-real objection, okay? So there are really only 2 legitimate objections. It's too much money, too many pieces. Those are the 2 main things. If we can find the reason why they don't want it, we can go to the next set down. So today I'm going to teach you some dropping down keys. So jot this down in your notes here. Write down drop down keys, okay? So the first key I'm going to give you as we go through this, and these should help on your appointments today. Number 1, write down AFTO with confidence. And type in some of this stuff in the chat too. Ask for the order with confidence. That part of the presentation where you say to them, is this something you'd like to get today? That's the most important line in the whole thing, right? So where's my demo? Here we go. All right, so we take a look right here on page 9. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, would you like to try out the homemaker set today and get your free whatever? You gotta have a smile on your face. You gotta have a confidence about that. You do not want to make this like a huge spectacle of like, I said this in training, but do you want to get the homemaker set today? Don't hit me. Is that okay that I ask you? Right? Don't ask like you're asking to date their daughter. Okay. What you want to do is you want to ask like as if you're asking what time it is. So why don't you write that down? Do you know what time it is? Do you want to go ahead and get that today? Ask for the order like you're asking for the time. Asking for the order just like, hey, do you want fries with that? That's confidence. Asking for the order like, hey, do you want to make that a meal? That's confidence. Would you agree at Subway they don't care whether they say yes or no? It's like, do you want to get chips and a drink with that? No. Okay, your total is this. Yes. Okay, your total is this. Literally, they don't care. So it's called suggestive selling. You got to suggest stuff, right? So it's important just to ask them, hey, do you want to go and get that? Awesome, congrats. Now, when you sell your first thing, it's kind of easier to be like, oh, I've been here before. It makes sense. People buy this stuff. Callista should be so confident. Then she did an amazing presentation where when she asks, hey, is that something you want to get today? It would just make sense. The customer says yes. It'd be weird if they said no, right? And it's like, yeah, I did an amazing presentation, Mrs. Jones. You want to go ahead and get that? Yeah. Okay. I figured you'd say yes. Awesome. I got to show you these gifts and accessories. You're going to love those too. Now, that's not the case every time, but everybody sees the difference, right, with the confidence level. So just make sure you always ask for the order. Was it awkward for anybody to ask for the order a little bit where you're like, I have to ask you, do you want to buy this stuff, right? That's a little bit intimidating sometimes. What I'll tell you though is that it's way worse to not ask for the order because there's no transitions when you're going through the other stuff. So you got to make sure you ask them, hey, is that something you want to get today? Because that gives you the roadmap of what to do next. Yes, you go to this. No, you go to this. So ask for the order, write down next to that with every step. You got to ask for the order on the galley. You got to ask for the order on the next set. Hey, do you like that studio set? Cool. Do you want to go ahead and get that? Okay. All right, that's my first key. Let's keep moving. Next one, write down, always pick a knee-jerk reaction. Okay. So what's interesting is with the knee-jerk reactions, let's take a look on page 9 there. 50%, so check this statistic out. 50% of the homemakers our company sells come after the customer says no the first time. That's what we found in our office. 50%. So what that means is they'll say no, you'll handle a knee-jerk reaction, and they'll say, oh yeah, sure, we'll do that. So if you want to sell 50% more homemakers, you just got to ask this. Why do some people not ask? I don't know, maybe it's a little bit nerve-wracking being like, hey, why do you not want to buy this? Because that's kind of what you're saying, right? Hey, is there a reason why, you're not sure about getting this? But you got to make sure you find that because knee-jerk reactions do one of 2 things. One, it gives Maddie a chance for the customer to reconsider. Because what just happened, they said, you said, hey, you want to buy 1,500 bucks worth of stuff. Would you agree most people kind of like start thinking about that price and maybe tune you out for the 5K? So when you say that, it gives them a chance to reconsider and they'll be like, oh, I didn't even know it was 335 today. That's awesome, right? And then the second thing knee-jerk reactions do, it gives you knowledge as you drop down. Because now we know what the objection is. So if somebody said to Maddie, it's too much money, what is Maddie going to emphasize when we go to the galley? Oh, I gotta show you the galley. You're gonna love this thing because it's less money. Yeah. If somebody said to Maddie, oh, it's just too many pieces, Maddie. I love the homemaker. I just don't think I'd use all those pieces. Oh, I gotta show you the galley. A lot of people love this one because it's less pieces. Now you're getting it, right? So this allows you to not be a salesperson. Write down buyer's assistant. You are not a salesperson. You're a buyer's assistant. You're helping somebody get something they already like, okay? So what's the number one complaint about salespeople? They don't listen. So if you're just like, the reason why asking for the order may have been awkward for you is because you were doing this. Do you want to buy this? No. Do you want to buy this? No. Do you want to buy this? No. How about this one? No. I have to ask you, how about this one? So if you have a reason, now you can use that reason. So somebody says to Callista, it's just too much money. Okay. Hey, no problem. I got to show you the galley set. This is less money. And then when I ask for the order, it's not like, do you want to buy this today? It's, hey, Callista, I know you said the homemaker was a little bit out of your price range. Do you feel like the galley fits more in your budget? Okay, cool. Is that something you want to get today? Nice. Congrats. You're going to love it. Does everybody see how that's now a conversation? Everybody get that, right? So also too, if somebody says to Callista, hey, Callista, I wouldn't use that butcher knife or that master carving set, or a couple of the other table knives or whatever. Hey, let me show you the galley set. What do you think about these pieces? Still too many pieces. Let me show you that studio set. Hey, Callista, do you feel like those pieces fit more of your cooking needs? So that's the combination you like the most? Cool. Do you want to go and give that a shot today then? Awesome. So now I'm actually helping her. I want it to be not you versus Mrs. Jones. It should be you and Mrs. Jones versus Cutco to find the right option for them. There's a big difference. So turn a presentation into a conversation. We're going to talk more about that at advanced training, but all of you just got the inside scoop of what I'm going to talk about later on. Okay. Next thing, let's talk about underneath this, page 9. Please write down, now taking all those philosophies to heart here, write down galley equals perfect solution right there. Just write down perfect solution next to this little blank here. So I want you to say the galley is the perfect solution to whatever they said. Oh, James, it's way too much money. Hey, no problem. We have a lot of different options. I'm sure we'll find a set that's a better fit for you. I'm going to show you our galley set next, James. A lot of people have found that's the perfect solution. So let me show you that galley set. Next is our galley set. So galley equals the perfect solution. Okay. Next thing I want you to write down is always ask for a starter set. Which one do you like the best? So this one right here, we're going to fast forward to page 11 here. This line out of these starter sets, which one do you like the best? This is such an important line. I can't remember who I was mentioning this to yesterday on the phone. It might have been multiple people, actually. But the purpose of them picking a starter set is not always to have them buy a starter set. It's to give you a price comparison for the next thing. So follow me on this. Remember how we talked about the law of large numbers? If you compare this number to this number looks smaller. So what do they just hear? Well, they heard the homemaker is 1,500 bucks. The galley is $1,000. What are they possibly thinking when you get to page 11 for the starter sets? Cutco's maybe too expensive for me. Maybe it's just not my product I'm going to get today, right? What happens is they tune you out. So I don't like to use the words reel them in because we don't do that. We're not salespeople, but it does re-engage somebody when you tell them the price. Because check this out. If I was like, hey, the homemaker's 1,500, the galley set's $1,000, and they're like, oh no, thank you. And I said, which of these starter sets do you like the most? And they said to you something like, well, I'm probably not going to purchase anything today. Anybody have that happen? You were like, what do I do? Do I have them pick a starter set or what? What I want you to say here is practice, question mark. Hey, can you pick one for my practice? Can you pick one so I can at least practice telling you one of the prices? Because even if they're not going to purchase it, as soon as Lucia says, hey, instead of it being 1549 for the homemaker set, that kitchenette set, it's only 509. It's only 112 bucks on a 5 pay. What does the customer think? No thanks, but what else you got? Because now it's like a third of the homemaker price. It's 100 bucks for a 5 pay. So if you've ever had a person say this to you, you got all the way down to one piece and you're like, oh, it's 140 bucks or whatever for one knife. Anybody have somebody say, oh, that seems like a lot for one knife? I don't know about that one. Okay. So what that means is they need a few more price comparisons to find the value for that knife. Follow me on this for a second. Okay. 1,500, no. $1,000, no. 600 bucks or 500 bucks, no. Now we go to a pick five special. It's like 450. Then a buy three, get one free is like 300. Then it's like two knives is 180, and then one piece is like 100 bucks. Now they see the value for why that piece is that price. This making sense now? So it's not always about like getting the sale for the starter set, although that will happen, right? People will get a studio set sometimes, right? But you got to make sure that you still ask. So if they don't pick a starter set, make sure you say, hey, can you at least pick one for my practice so I can tell the price? And then I'll just go to the next thing. Okay. Let's, by the way, are these helpful so far? Who's feel like a couple of these, you're like, you know what, this is the one I can probably improve on for next time. Now that you've done demos, that's kind of how it goes. Okay. Let's talk about the trial option. Write down trial option. Okay. If you had somebody who was really close to purchasing, our top reps use the trial option all the time. And what is the trial option? Well, let's all take a look on page 10 together. Okay, if we take a look on page 10, if you called in, you probably had one of your managers say something pretty similar to the trial option. And I even mentioned this to a few of you. We didn't like practice it, but this right here allows people to make a decision today. Okay, here's what this says. I'm going to walk you through these sales philosophies. Why does the trial option work really well? Okay, well, my division manager and I got together. We made this awesome script on how to just say try it instead of buy it. Would you agree buying something is more committal? It's like, oh, I have to make a decision. Anybody have somebody say like, you know what, I'd rather just like try it out for a bit, or how can I like touch this product first, or I don't want to make a decision on the spot. Those people use the trial option for them because what they're really describing is our guarantee, right? Okay, so let's go through this and figure out why this works. We talked a lot about sales philosophies and lessons in training. You're about to learn a bunch right now. Okay, so you don't want to buy the homemaker set, but you really like it. Okay, so what you're saying is it's a little bit too much money. Okay, you always want to repeat the objection or it's too many pieces. Okay, I completely understand. People like to feel understood. I hope I didn't give you the impression you had to make a final decision today. What we're doing there is we're taking ownership. We're like, oh, my bad. Like, oh, my bad, Curtis. I must have not explained this properly. I hope we didn't get the impression you had to make a final decision today. Okay. Most people find they really like Cutco when they see it, but they want some time to decide. What we're doing there is we're saying most people, they're not alone. In life, nobody ever wants to be the first, last, or left behind. First, last, or left behind. I don't want to be the first person ever to buy the homemaker set. That'd be a little sketchy, right? I want to know other people have purchased this before. I also don't want to be the last one to buy it because I missed out on a cool opportunity. So, hey, most people have felt that same way. They just use our trial option. We explain the alternative. The trial option allows you to put only 20% down, which is whatever the payment is of that set. Then all of your Cutco comes in the mail. You and your spouse can try out for 3 weeks, cook a bunch of meals, make sure it's the right decision. What we're doing right here is we're vision painting. It's like, hey, you're going to get it. You're going to cook a bunch, try it out for a few weeks. They're like visualizing owning Cutco. Then you can make a more educated decision instead of an impulse buy. What is an impulse buy? That's when you go to the store, you buy something, and you're like, why did I buy that thing? And you have buyer's remorse later. Who's ever had buyer's remorse? Yeah, so you never have buyer's remorse with Cutco because you get to try it for 15 full days. If you ever have somebody say something like, oh, I'm a person who just has to sleep on it, I've got to think about it, it's my personality. One, that's a smokescreen. But two, great. Our guarantee is perfect for that person's personality. Okay. If you love it, keep paying the 20% per month for the remainder. If you don't love it, send it back. You get a full refund. What we're doing there, so we're saying the 5 pay. You always want to say the full refund thing because that gives people peace of mind. There's no risk. What I used to tell people is, you know what, Callista, if you're not sure about it, hey, you know what? Tell you what, after 2 weeks, I'll personally swing by your house. I'll box it up. I'll ship it back for you. We'll take care of that for you, right? Guess how many times I had to do that in my career? 0 times. Now I offered it, right? And I would have done it. If somebody would have called me back, I for sure would have done it for them. Okay. But once they get it, would you agree they're using it and they're loving it? So it just gives them a little bit of peace of mind. That's going above and beyond for customer service. Ask for the order. Would you like to use the trial option? You got to AFTO. Because you can say this perfectly and then not AFTO, and then you're not going to sell it. Does everybody see why this paragraph works really well? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause, and I'm going to have you read this out loud. I want you to act as if I just said to you, you know what? I love the Homemaker Plus 8. It's my favorite set. I'm kind of on the edge about it. It's just a little bit too much money. Let's pretend I said it's just a little bit too much money for the paid in full right now. Okay. If you're watching this recording, do the same thing. Actually practice it. Okay. I want to see some lips moving. Let's give this a try on page 10. It's a little bit too much money, but I really like this Homemaker. 1, 2, 3, go. Yes, I would like to use the trial option. You convinced me. You sounded so good. Well, you look good saying it. Okay. Hey, by the way, for the trial option, could we use the trial option on any of the sets? Yeah. Could we also use the trial option on, let's say they say yes to the Homemaker set and they really like that signature set? Could we actually emphasize, hey, you can actually just do the trial option on the Siggy and try that one out instead? Hey, if you decide the Homemaker, that's fine, but you can at least try the signature. Could you do this on the Pick 5 special? Whatever their favorite thing is, if they're on the edge about it, I want you to try the trial option. Okay, who feels like they can give this a shot today and you're comfortable like giving this a try? Hey, could this be something that you just like pull up on your virtual manual and like pull it up on the screen here so it looks like you're almost looking at the customer to say it too, because that looks more confident as well. But either way, though, just like read this and try to memorize this paragraph. That's a really big game changer. Okay. The last thing I want to describe to you, and by the way, we have a video called Page 12. Okay, we recorded this of teaching all of page 12. I would recommend checking that out at some point. Ask your manager for it again. So that way we can send that to you. That's going to teach you just like how to hone in your skills on page 12 because a lot of our orders do come from that page. What I want to help you do though is sell one thing to every person. And we're about to be done so you guys can go to your demos in a second as well. Okay. I'm really going to encourage you to reserve the buy now bonus. So on the bottom of page 12, this one right here, the one piece special. Hey, this is how you can turn that no sale into a sale. It sounds like you love Cutco. Now just isn't the right time for a set. Most people who like Cutco and think they'll get some more in the future just end up reserving the buy now bonus. By getting one piece today, you become a preferred customer. So in the future, you can still get the discounts and savings you'd be getting if you did get the whole set today. And it really helps me out towards my goals. So which is your favorite piece? Out of everything, what do you like? The trimmer? All right, sweet. That piece is only, I don't know, 83 bucks, 85 bucks, whatever it is. Do you want to go ahead and get this today? You can even put it on a 2-payment plan. Because remember, what this does is if they tell you they're buying later, 0%. However, if they get this one trimmer, they're more likely to buy it later because they're using this knife. And remember, when they say they're going to get the homemaker next month, they can get the full homemaker in the mail. We take the trimmer out, send it back to the company, get fully reimbursed, and they put this knife in there, and they still get the free stuff. They can still get those super shears for free. But if they don't get something today, they don't get the free stuff. So really try to emphasize, let's get one thing to try it out to see how it goes. All right, we're gonna end a minute early here, okay? Crush those demos today. Have fun, have energy, have enthusiasm, keep making more phone calls, talk to your manager a lot. We, of course, have advanced training later as well. But good luck. Use those things. Put a star next to your favorite thing. What was your number one thing you liked the most? Text your manager. Here was my favorite thing from Champions Club today that I'm going to use. And we'll see you next time. So good luck today, everybody. Let's crush it. Adios. We'll see you later.